It's really surprised to see how many people are here tonight. You're either here for the pinning of our new reserve officers, or you're all here to cheer me to get out of here, one or the other. I'm not sure. Wow, 8 years on the city council, plus another 2 on planning and zoning, so that's 10 years I've put into city government, and it just does not seem like it's been that long. Probably one of the main reasons it doesn't seem like it's that long is because of the people that I work with. The city of Moscow has a staff that is unbelievably professional, knowledgeable, and personable. Everything from the city supervisor all the way on down the line. I think we have the best employees of any city. Granted, I don't have any experience with any other cities, but that being said, the other group of guys and ladies, when we have them, is our city council. And we've been through a lot of stuff together. Walter and I came on the same time, Dan also, and Bill was on at that time when we came on, as was John. And then they both left. Bill came back as mayor, John came back on the council. And we've accomplished a lot in 8 years. If you remember back 8 years ago, there was a lot of unrest within the city. There was a lot of not getting along so well, I think. There was a lot of differences of opinion. There was the business side of the community, and there was since we're nonpartisan, it's really hard for me to put a finger on it, but there was a lot of differences of opinion. And then people were either happy or they weren't happy. But you know what, over 8 years, this council has done some really, really great things. And I think right now, this city of Moscow is more content and probably more satisfied with the way things are than they've been. And that's because we've accomplished a lot in those 8 years. One of the first things that happened was we were able to open lines of communication with other governmental agencies, with the Pullman City Council, with Whitman County Commissioners, even our Latah County Commissioners. That speaks profoundly in itself. And working directly now with the University of Idaho and the Chamber of Commerce towards common goals. I know that Bill and Dr. Staben sit down a lot, and they visit a lot, and it's kind of like what's good for the city is good for the university and vice versa, to a great extent. So that has been a real positive thing. One of the biggest changes that happened that I think reflected upon this council and the Planning and Zoning Commission prior to that was when we modified the large retail establishment ordinance. At that particular time, Walmart had built in Pullman. This Walmart was empty. They had no intention of coming back. And through letters that was written by the council and the previous mayor, but also by the changing of that large retail establishment ordinance to make it more user-friendly, Walmart came back to Moscow. And it was a direct reflection of the change in that LRE. And I want to thank Art, particularly because he was chair of Planning and Zoning at that time. And he and I worked closely together to see that that change was made. We can't forget about the expansion of the Pullman-Moscow Airport. This is going to be another area where we've been able to work with a number of other entities in creating funds necessary for this expansion. And this will be an economic expansion, and it'll be good for our community. One of the other things that we're going to see tonight, and this is really close to my heart, was reestablishing the Moscow Police Reserve Program. We went a number of years without a reserve program, and we were able to put it back in the budget 3 years ago so that Chief Duke could put his reserve program back together. What a fine group of people that we have as our reserve police officers that go out and put themselves on the line and get nothing for it. And I think this speaks profoundly of them personally and their desire to give back to the community. So our reestablishing that reserve program, I think, was a huge step. We had the collaboration with the Moscow School District for construction of the new ball fields. Another great thing. We put up money, they put up money, we got it built, and we got it done. I can remember back when I ran in 2007, and we were talking about this property was out on Palouse River Drive. It was impossible to build ball fields on. It was $8 million with the improvements necessary just to get it going. And people at that time were asking me, well, how do you feel about ball fields? I said, well, I like ball fields. It's just how are we going to get them built? We got it done. We passed ordinances guaranteeing equal rights for employment and housing to minorities. We were one of the first cities in the city of Moscow to do that before the state's even been able to do it. And I think that speaks extremely well of this council for putting that forward. A new comprehensive plan. That was a long time in going. And Bill, you spearheaded that. You rode that on top of the... We had consultants, did we not? And then we redid what the consultants did because we weren't real happy with it. But Bill Belknap was a big part of that comprehensive plan. Construction of the Intermodal Transportation Center. Another joint project with the University of Idaho. It enhances the visibility of our community. It gives us a transportation hub, and it gave a new home for the creation of smart transit. We renamed it. It was Moscow. What was it? I can't even remember the name of it now.
Valley Transit.
Exactly, but we moved. It was because it had been based in Lewiston, and we rebranded it. Smart Transit.
Valley Transit is what it was.
Yeah,
before.
Valley Transit, right. Let's not forget about moving Farmers Market to Main Street. Huge. That was huge. That thing has expanded so much, and there's 5,000 people every Saturday that will go to that. I know our police department just loves having it there. We created Legacy Crossing, another urban renewal district. It's taken a long time to get anything going on that because there's a lot of hoops to jump through. There was ground remediation we had to do because of contaminated soils, but Sangria will be breaking ground for a building there at the corner of 6th and Jackson this spring. At least we anticipate that, I think, don't we, Bill? Those are just some of the things I came up in trying to think back over 8 years what this has been like. It's a little bit emotional for me because it's a mixed bag. I've enjoyed it. I think we have done some great things for the city of Moscow, and I have every reason to believe that this city council, including our newest council member, Catherine, when she comes on, I know that they'll continue to do great things. And if you don't, there's another election in 2 years, and I may have to come back. But anyway, that's what I've got. Thank you very much for everybody that voted me into office. Thank you for your support and your letters. I appreciate that beyond what anybody can imagine. Thank you.
We're going to say a few words here, though. We're going to, we gave some time for Wayne to speak, and so all the rest of us are going to get a chance to talk as well about Wayne and some of his things. And he covered a lot of territory there, which was really good. And I got to share with you, all the folks here, that 8 years ago, I was one of the guys who went over to see Wayne about actually running when he was running Martin Tire Store right down here across the street.
Yep.
And because I thought Wayne would do a good job as a counselor, and I thought he would do the right thing for the community because he's been here for, I don't know, 60 years or however many years you've been here, Wayne, years and years and years.
Well, John, you kept railroading me to do it, too.
Yep. And so one thing about counselors, and all counselors that I've ran into since the time that I've been as a council person and the mayor of this town, as well as on planning and zoning and the Board of Adjustments, I've been involved for a number of years now, and people put their heart into this to do the right thing, and so I'm very proud of that, what you've achieved, Wayne, and that's congratulations to you. John, I'm going to let you speak on Wayne here for a few minutes.
No,
You got,
John.
Yeah, John.
I could get all of the members of the Moscow Police Department to leave the room. I'll be more than willing to speak to Wayne Krauss. And Wayne and I have been friends. We've known each other since, before high school, long time. And Wayne has always been forthright. He's always been honest. He thinks things through. And I think more than anything else, Wayne's heart has always been for doing what he could to make Moscow a better place for all of us to live. And for that, and I'll never say it again, thank you.
Dan?
Yeah, Wayne, I think that everybody up here will agree with me. We're gonna miss that bark. There's no doubt about it that Wayne's a pit bull up here right now, and he never really had the bite so much, but he does have that bark, and he'll let you know he'll let you know how he feels if you just ask him. That's one thing that Wayne's got on everybody. So, gonna miss you, but I'm sure I'll see you around.
You will. Art? Well, Wayne, I came across you in a professional political capacity when I was chairman of planning and zoning. You came on and projected a magnificent, rough, tough demeanor, which left me thinking, how am I going to work with this guy? This is going to be absolutely a stalemate. It's going to be awful. But I got to say, you surprised me to no end by being fair-minded and putting the needs of the citizens and the town of Moscow well ahead of your own views and doing the right thing every time, and it's been a joy to work with you.
Bolton?
Thank you, Mayor. I didn't know Wayne Krauss forever like a lot of people in town do. I didn't patronize Martin Auto for whatever reason. I have no idea. First time I ever heard his name, I remember I was out in this hall. It was after a Moscow Transportation Commission meeting that I was probably chairing at the time, and they told me that this fellow across the street wanted to talk about downtown parking. And since we were in our 21st of 12 months of working on it less, I ended up either, I forget whether you found me or I found you, and Wayne had some ideas about what could be done or should be done with downtown parking in Moscow. The point of all of this is that he learned before it was all over that you couldn't do that. It wouldn't work. And I think that was his first lesson possibly in why it takes so long to get things done working for the city or for a county or a state. There are a lot of not only opinions, but there are a lot of staff knowledge that you have to contend with in terms of can it physically be done? Can we find out how to pay for it? Can we survive the public's scrutiny of it? So that's my first recollection of Wayne. Was a good idea that wouldn't quite work, and it wasn't the first. It's been 8 years of those kinds of things, but we've had some successes that you've listed, and I know we're all up here very proud of them. So, Wayne, we're going to miss you.
Thank you.
Gary?
Well, I've had the privilege of serving with a lot of council members, and I think it was summed up very well that Wayne does have a lot of bark, but he reads everything. He's a great debater. He listens, and I'm proud for having served with you. So thank you.